Mewing. It's called mewing. Sorry, I just...
Okay, just a reminder, Craig here is going to have the 2 paddles. Yellow is 30 seconds left, and red is time's up. Okay, we'll begin with the 3-minute introductions. Mr. Ferry, go ahead.
Do it. Good evening, Dans. Woo! We're here. Thank you for locking in and waiting for this 3rd round of fun. My name is George Michael Ferry Jr., like Fairy Godmother, and George Michael, the gay 80s singer, if you're familiar. I am a Denton resident of almost 21 years. I came here as a budding dance performance major. I am a UNT grad. I am a husband. I am a dog parent. Prue and Phoebe, if you're watching, what's up? I am a small business owner, and I am a social worker. I am a lover, first and foremost, also of this town. I am grateful to stand before you. I'm grateful for the Denton Firefighters Association for providing us with this space to come together as community and to have this opportunity to chat. I have served on 12 different boards across 20 years, spanning thousands upon thousands of volunteer hours throughout my time in this town. Some being Denton Main Street Association, Pride Denton, Outreach Denton, Parks Board for 6 years, chair for 3 of those years, currently the president of Denton Affordable Housing Corporation, the vice president of the Denton County Homeless Coalition. I say all of this because I need to inform you that I've been doing the work for 17 of the last 20 years that I've lived here. I know what it looks like to struggle to work paycheck to paycheck, service industry 15 years. I've owned 2 businesses. One was a wine bar on the square, and now I own my own private practice as a licensed clinical social worker, which means I'm not only a small business owner, but I'm also one of 2 employees, my other co-owner. So I understand both sides still to this day. I hope that I convey to you why I'm running. I hope you hear the heart and intention behind it. And I hope that if you hear anything tonight that comes out of my mouth that scares you about me or my campaign, that you reach out to me, catch me after this is over, and let's schedule a coffee and chat about it. I am unafraid to sit in front of any human being and talk about the great town we love together, because at the end of it, that's the common ground. We care about where we are, right? So thank you for your time. Glad you're here. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Ms. Erica Garland, 3 minutes.
All right. Hello, my name is Erica Garland. I'm running for Denton City Council Place 5. It's an at-large seat, so everyone in Denton can vote for me. I'd love to kind of tell you a little bit about myself. So I've lived in Denton for 17 years, raised a family here. For most of that time, I was a single mom of 4 boys, so we have that in common. I built my career at the Denton Enterprise Airport. I currently work for a major airline. I source, interview, and hire first officers. So for those of you that are jumping on your next flight, just know that I source those great pilots that are in the cockpit. I have served on our airport advisory board, as well as I'm currently a commissioner on our planning and zoning commission. So I'm running again for city council because I do feel like many people have said it tonight, we are at a crossroads. We need leadership that is rooted in service to our community. We need people that are running for council and serving on all of our boards and committees that are doing it for the right reasons. We've seen a lot in the past few years, a lot of activists and operatives and people that are using these seats to build their career in politics. And I just think that at its core, we have to get back to the core issues of our city. And that is safety, that's roads and infrastructure, and just focusing on the needs of the citizens and listening to them. I'd love to kind of tell you a little story about myself. So about 10 years ago, I was in a really bad car wreck. I had my 6-month-old in the back. I was going down the highway about 60 miles an hour. Someone pulled out in front of me. I T-boned them. It was a really, really bad wreck. And I ended up, in trying to stop, I ended up breaking my femur. It was a compound fracture. It was it was bad. And so the people that stood over me and told me I was gonna be fine and that I was gonna live, I was in the worst pain of my life, but that I was gonna be fine and my son in the back was gonna be fine, were firefighters. They were the ones that pulled my leg into traction. And so I've seen firsthand how you guys serve, and girls, serve people on what many times is the worst day of their lives. And so I know what I had to see that day, I will never unsee. I know that that is something that you guys deal with every single day. And so I thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for having us. I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Caleb?
Hi, my name is Caleb. Obviously, the first thing you notice about me is that my hair is brown. No, I'm just kidding. It's that I'm young, or at least that I look really young, which I am young. I'm 24 years old. I'm a student at the University of North Texas. I'm studying political science, and honestly, I never thought about doing this at all. It was never something that I wanted to do, but instead of sitting to the side and seeing things go on that I didn't really agree with or like, I decided to take a stand and do something about it. I don't have much experience. I'm still in school, I graduate soon, but I don't have experience because I haven't been able to. Like we've talked about earlier today, a lot of Denton residents are living paycheck to paycheck. And I think a lot of these people, or maybe some of these people in the room too, are living paycheck to paycheck, because that's how it is for me. That's not right. Everybody deserves to live a fulfilled life without having to struggle where their next meal is going to come from, or where they're going to stay for the night, or anything like that. I was a manager at Walmart for about 2.5 years. And during that time, I got to help a lot of people. A lot of my associates came through. They were UNT students. And I've seen a lot of them drop out of college just because they have to drop out and work full-time just to afford to live. And that's not right. They come here to make a life better for them, and then they end up having to stop doing what they're doing and barely survive. And so I'm up here trying to fight for what I think is going to be right for Denton's future. A lot of people talk about Denton's future, but I think we don't really look towards it. A lot of people in these positions and who are in the positions right now are pretty set for themselves. So they don't really think about the people who are still coming up. And as a younger person, I think that's important to think about Denton's future, because we are Denton's future. And so, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll begin the questions with Mr. Ferry, and you guys will have 2 minutes. Question 1. Candidates often say public safety is the top priority. In a constrained budget, what would you be willing to delay, reduce, or vote against to fund firefighter staffing, pay, or equipment?
Thank you for the question. I believe Nick said it earlier. I think first and foremost, it's interesting that we hold 184, I think is the actual total of open positions that were reported in September by DRC, that's held against our deficit. And I wonder why in those moments we can't use the city auditor, right, who works for council directly, right, to be independent, and ask them to analyze how many of those jobs have been vacant for a year, 2 years, how long has this vacancy been unfulfilled by a qualified employee? Why not reallocate that funding to roles that are needed, like the EMS lieutenants that are needed? There are 2 that are needed per y'all's data that you provided to us. There are also other opportunities. Why is it that last year in 2025, the city gave away $8 million in either tax breaks or fee waivers for developments? not for affordable not for affordable housing, friends. Just gave them away. We're giving money away all the time. We leave money on the table all of the time at our city. So my promise to you is that has to stop. When we talk about affordable housing, we have to talk about real deep affordable housing, the 30% AMI, the 50% AMI, healthier mixes that actually make sense for the 60% of folks, myself included, living paycheck to paycheck, and also for the 30% of Alice households, so severely accessed limited income, correct? We have to do better. And these are just two ways that we could make up a large amount of money. 8 million is more than half the deficit. What are we talking about, right? Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Garland? Yes, ma'am.
Me?
Yes.
Sorry. So as a city, we are guilty of years and years and years of bad spending. We've had good years where we were kind of up, and then we spent anything that maybe could have gone in a reserve in ways that maybe weren't what was best for all of us. We've wasted money on frivolous lawsuits. We all have been victims of roads that get torn up, and then a month later not a month later that they fix it, but a year later when they fix it, then they're tearing it up and redoing it again. We see this all across our city. I think at its core, we have to have a council that works cohesively together, that communicates to one another, they listen to each other, they listen to the community. And right now, that's something that we don't have. We don't have a council that works well together. I think that more than cutting anything, that we have to really take a holistic look at our allocation of resources. We have to look at that and kind of see, okay, what do we have going for us? Where are the needs and where are the gaps? Where's the overlap? We really have to look at the data. I've spoken to our firefighters and our police officers, and a consistent messaging that I hear is 99% of their calls are going to help and aid our unhoused friends and neighbors. And when really maybe the best use of those resources and allocations is to maybe develop a task force, pull together and holistically look at all of the services that we have in our community. What are we doing? What are other counties and other cities in the county doing? And then pull people together and maybe have a task force that can help alleviate some of these issues. You hear things like someone needs to refill their prescription.
Ms. Garland, I'm sorry, your time's up.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Caleb Meese.
All right, thank you for the question. That's a tough question. Whenever you're talking about cuts, that could mean a lot of things, and it could mean some dangerous things for a lot of people. It's not an easy thing to answer, especially without having a conversation with everyone on council about it. And so I don't think it's as easy as, oh, let's cut this. I think it's more, let's look into our budget. Let's look at what's not really helping us right now. What are we spending our money on? What are we taking this money for? And how is it helping us? And so instead of looking to cut specific things, we want to look to cut the things that aren't helping our residents, the things that aren't helping. Whenever you look at the road construction, it's taking forever. That costs a lot of money, and then it takes forever, and it just doesn't help. So what can we do to make that faster, more efficient, and so that we spend less money on that for a less amount of time? It's not about, oh, let's cut this specific thing. It's about looking for the things that don't help us. And so that's how I would go about it.
Thank you. Mr. Meese, we'll begin with you for the next question. Firefighters participate in a separate pension system. Unlike employees in TMRS, firefighter retirees do not receive a cost of living adjustment, which means inflation steadily reduces the value of their benefits over time. Knowing that addressing this would require city participation and funding, would you support working towards a solution that provides retirees protection against inflation, and what factors would determine your vote?
All right, that is a good question too. The simple answer is yes, I would 100% work towards a solution. Whenever I first found out about this, because I didn't know, I thought it was ridiculous. So one of the specific things that would have to be for me to vote onto a solution is a more consistent schedule. Preferably, I would like to see a yearly COLA, but obviously we'd have to look at the budget for that. But that would be one of my things, is yearly to at least 2 years, every 2 years. And so that would be one of the major things that I would look at, is because our firefighters do a lot. Whenever I worked at Walmart, I had to call our emergency services quite a bit, and they were always the first to respond, and they were always the most helpful. No matter what it was, they would always be there. They'd be smiling, and I know they'd be stressed out because they'd have a long night or a long day, but they'd always be there ready to help and serve our community. And so they're important to our community. And I mean, look at the accreditations that they have. You know, they're really good. So obviously, I think it's important that we take care of them. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a comment?
Sorry, I can't hear you over the clapping. I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So our firefighters face a variety of post-retirement challenges that the average person doesn't particularly have to deal with. Much of that is unique compared to the rest of us. There's specific health concerns that they have to deal with, cost of living adjustments. So the idea that they don't have the same benefits when it comes to, like, compared to the average person is pretty unsettling. To simply put, I would absolutely support a cost of living adjustment to make sure that the people who are taking care of each one of us are also taken care of. So the real question is, how do we pay for it? I think that collectively in Denton, we really have to discuss what we're doing with our economic development, what businesses we are attracting, how do we become more attractive, and really focus on kind of that piece of it all. I would certainly welcome the conversation with retired firefighters, kind of what their experience is, people, the representatives that are currently on the pension, and making sure that those individuals are people that kind of fully understand the nuances of it. And then also, of course, our city staff, and making sure that all possibilities that are available to us are on the table. I think that we know our firefighters risk their lives for us every day. It shouldn't be expected of them to also risk their financial well-being. Thank you.
Mr. Perry?
As someone who's paid in a TRS, working as a public district social worker, and with someone whose husband is a 17-year public school teacher, I know all too well, woo is right, thank you, public education. I understand the system well, and I very flatly want to just say, yes, absolutely. The firefighters that work in our city should absolutely get a 70% cost of living adjustment, just like the city employees do. Period, full stop, right? And to speak to paying for it, and to speak more succinctly to economic development, we have 2 universities and 1 community college that exist in our town. I want to know how intentional City Council has been, and I can guarantee you I will be very intentional to say what programs are generating the most graduates. What can we use our economic development catalyst funds for, our grant funding of hundreds of thousands of dollars, to incentivize businesses that will come here and immediately be an opportunity for someone graduating one of our 3 universities and colleges. I don't understand why we also have not really addressed the tens of thousands of empty square footage of business space in the TERS, the downtown area, and the surrounding area. It's vacant. It's vacant. Why are we not putting in a test kitchen? I've been to Portland, I've been to cities all around this country that incentivize people by having a building ready to go with the equipment needed, and they give you a year to pilot your own menu, take all those funds and start your own brick and mortar. Why aren't we doing things like this? We have to be creative with the funds we have available. They exist. Thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Ferry, we'll begin with you for the next question. The next council will play a key role in hiring a permanent city manager. What qualities would you insist that person demonstrate regarding labor relations, public safety investment, and keeping commitments made to employees?
That's such a great question. I think first and foremost, I want someone who does have a proven track record of being able to balance a budget and keep people on task. Just like a nonprofit, I'm the president of the board. I oversee the executive director, the city manager. I make sure that the vision, the values, the mission, the goals are being carried out, right? Because above me is what? The people, your wants and wishes, right? That's why I'm holding town halls, one in each district. That's why I'm being intentional with having any conversation with any human being over coffee anytime. I say all of that to say I want a city manager who is humble, who is willing to have hard conversations with staff, who wants their input on what they think would make their department run more efficiently. I also want a city manager who's unabashed to tell council, hey, this is not working. You know, we need to maybe start trying to steer the ship this way. Can we get some community input? I want more collaboration. I feel like we're in an era where if you watch a city council meeting, it's like watching reality television, where it just evolves into bickering and name calling, and it's a really, really embarrassing, it's bad role modeling, and like we deserve better. I want a city manager that will also speak candidly and get city councilors to act on their behest, on the behest of the people. I say all that to say I think that I want to make sure that our next city manager isn't walking in and wanting to overhaul everything and take away what has been instilled by the folks here, the culture that we've all created and enjoy. As a creative myself, I want to make sure that our plans come first. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Erica Bottom?
Do you mind repeating the question?
Sure. The next city council will play a key role in hiring a permanent city manager. What qualities would you insist that person demonstrate regarding labor relations, public safety investment, and keeping commitments made to employees?
Okay, thank you. So I told you guys in my intro what I do for a living. I am a recruiter. I source, interview, recruit, and hire, like full cycle. So that is literally what I do every single day, is make sure that we have the very best person in that spot. When I heard this question the other day in the mayoral forum, and it just kind of struck me as, you know, it's very similar to what I do every day, which is pilot hiring. There's usually 4 questions that I need answered before I'm good on signing off on someone. Why do they want to work here? Like, what's their motivation? Is it a stepping stone for the next position, or is this their end goal? Like, is this where they have been working for the last 10 years to be right now? The second one, I'm gonna give you guys the gouge on pilot hiring here. Are they safe? Do I trust my family with them? Do I trust the company's resources with them? Do they understand and appreciate the culture of the company as we know it? And then are they also somebody that will contribute to it? So a lot of people will say, oh, I love the culture, I love the culture. Are you someone that loves it, or are you someone that will actually contribute to it and keep it going? Another one is, are my crews and our team, are they gonna wanna fly with you? Are you somebody that other people wanna work with? When I call people that you've worked with in the past, are you someone that they're like, yes, that person is awesome? And then, do you communicate well? Are you able to kind of explain yourself and communicate and work cross-departmentally with different individuals and be able to kind of come to a common ground? In many ways, I feel like it's so similar. And so I feel like in our city manager, we have to understand what their motivation is, and do we trust them with the city that we love? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Beast?
All right, thank you. This is a really fun question. I like it, and I think it's important to pick the right person. But I think the right person varies. People aren't going to agree on that. And in my personal opinion, what I would look for in a city manager is someone who knows life here in Denton, at the bottom. Not someone who is really, really set off. Experience is great, but it doesn't mean anything if they don't care about the people. I want someone who is going to care for each and every one of you, and is going to care for me. It's going to care for the future residents of Denton. It's going to care for anybody who comes to Denton, whether they're a student, whether they're a visitor, whether they live here. I want someone who cares about people. And so that is my key important outlook whenever I'm looking for something like that. Because at this level, it's important to care for the people who are here, who showed up here, who live here. And so that's really my main concern. But on top of that, I think it's important that the residents have a decision in that kind of thing. It shouldn't just be up to council members. It should be everybody's decision because it affects everybody. And so that's all that I have. I got the yellow card.
Thank you. Caleb, we'll begin with you. Voters deserve clarity about trade-offs. If the city needed to increase revenue, whether through tax adjustments or fees, what are the top 3 areas you would prioritize investing those new dollars into? Conversely, if the city chooses not to increase revenue and must reduce expenditures, what are 3 areas you would be willing to consider cutting, consolidating, or delaying?
All right. So there are a few things that I am really passionate about. One of them is going to be housing, obviously, because Denton rent is getting pretty expensive right now. Whenever I first moved here, I think I was paying about $600 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. And now I am paying $2,200 for the same space, same size, and yeah, it's not fun. I would love to own a home one day, and me and my husband have our dream home picked out here in Denton. But as of right now, it doesn't look like it's a possibility. And so housing is a big thing for me. Helping people find affordable housing is going to be something that's important in the future. People aren't going to be able to save if they have to pay $2,200 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. A lot of people don't like apartments being built. It's a college town. We do need some apartments, but the people who own the apartments shouldn't get to set whatever they want for the rent. Another thing that I'm really passionate about is transit. I think that transportation and housing and affordability and everything, it all works together. And so whenever people have a different option for transportation, oh, that was quick, they're going to be able to save more money. And so I would really like to put money into that transportation, our public transportation. And then thirdly, I'd really like to see some more support for our homeless population. I went through Oak Street and I got to talk to some residents, and one of the things that they told me was that if a unhoused neighbor is having a mental health crisis, they get picked up, dropped off at the hospital, and they have to find their way back anywhere, and I don't think that's right. So that's my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Eric Darling?
Do you mind repeating it one more time?
Yes. No, I don't mind. The voters deserve clarity about trade-offs. If the city needed to increase revenue, whether through tax adjustment or fees, what are the top 3 areas you would prioritize investing those new dollars into? Conversely, if the city chooses not to increase revenue or must reduce expenditures, what are 3 areas you would be willing to consider cutting, consolidating, or delaying?
So that's the big question, right? It's a loaded question because it's something that's on everybody's mind of how do we move forward and how do we pay for it? I said that I kind of alluded to this in one of the previous questions. I think we have to take a really long, hard look at our budget. We need to see what we're spending exactly and why. We need the most up-to-date data, and we need our community input. There's so many things. Denton has so many great things going for it. We have so many resources, and we really need to have a holistic view of what's working, where is their overlap, and where is their gaps. We certainly have to put money into public safety and infrastructure. That, to me, is just the priority. We're growing at a historic rate. We all see it. And so with that is going to bring additional calls, emergency, and things that maybe our city hasn't faced in the past. The question kind of alludes a little bit, maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, of raising revenue. If that's on the table as far as raising taxes, I think that is something I can't even fathom, because there's so many of the average Dentonites that aren't doing well right now. And make no mistake, I consider myself one of those average Dentonites. When I was a single mom, I mean, there were times I was working 3 jobs just to make ends meet. Losing the after-school program was something that broke my heart, because that was something I also depended on at one time. And so I think that we really have to kind of look at things. I'm out of time. One of the things I will say, what I would love to see is, I told you guys I worked at the airport for years. That is an underutilized economic driver that so many people don't recognize. So many people in Denton don't even realize we have an airport, and we have a nice airport. We have out-airported all of these little small municipal airports, and then like McKinney is now. Okay. The next forum, I promise.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
To be continued.
Yes.
Thank you for asking this question. I've heard both my opponents and others talk about our unsheltered population. As the Vice President of the Denton County Homeless Coalition, as the appointee for the Housing and Homelessness Leadership Team for our county, and as the President of Denton Affordable Housing Corp, let's talk about affordable housing, and let's talk about our unsheltered neighbors. Did you know that on average we spend $35,000 a year per unhoused resident on criminal trespass stays in jail and emergency medical services? $35,000 per person per year. Do the math. 690 in the PIC count last year. Do that math. Now, divide that in half. That's what it would cost to do permanent supportive housing in Denton. Wrap around services. Health, medical health. We're breaking ground in November on an 84-unit apartment complex with wraparound support services, partnering with Denton County MHMR for 84 people to potentially live out their entire days in their own space for the rest of their life. This is a housing first model. You don't need to be sober. Studies have shown 91% of people who enter a PSH stay housed for over a year. There are solutions, there is data, there's a lot of cost savings on the part of the taxpayer. Affordable housing is the same. I've watched it go from an idea in our head to pen on paper to going before P&Z to getting to the ground to getting to be pencil when it's finished. I know what it takes, I know what it looks like, I know the conversations, and I know that we could be doing a lot better with our local agencies like DAC, who are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get before P&Z when we're intentionally going to the city day one. We should be having that cost savings on the front end so that we can afford the project and put that more toward helping people with their rents. And the last thing I'll say is nothing, because I'm out of time.
Okay. We're now going to move to closing remarks, which is 3 minutes, and we'll begin with Mr. Caleb Messi. Sorry, Mies. Sorry about that.
All right, 3 minutes. Wow. This time has gone way faster up here rather than sitting from the audience. So it sounds so weird. I can't really see half the audience up here. It's way bigger if you're out there. But my closing remarks are pretty simple. I love Denton, and I love the way that it is. and I just want to make it the best that it can be. Too many of my friends who are students have come and gone just because either it's too expensive or there's no jobs here for them. And I want to look towards something that's going to fix that. I want people to love Denton as much as I love it. And I know that all of you love Denton as much as I love it, or else you wouldn't be here. And so that's what I'm about. I love Denton. I love the people. The people are what make Denton Denton. And so I'm here for you guys. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on social media, Mies for Denton, any platform. Just shoot me a message. Sometimes I'm a late responder, but I will get to it. I have a few things on the back table. If you'd like to take a look, feel free to take one. Other than that, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the Firefighters Association for hosting this. And I hope to see each and every one of you again sometime soon. Thank you.
Ms. Eric Garland, 3 minutes.
So I'm going to say something a little controversial. Local politics in Denton is broken. Many of us have felt the strain for a while now, and many residents have said that they don't feel like they're being heard. We heard that from up here tonight. That concerns me because the representation, that's the whole point of council, is they are representing our community. They're representing each one of us. And if multiple people are saying that they don't feel like they are being heard, that's a problem. When someone runs for office, they're choosing to represent everybody, not just the people that maybe they align with politically. We don't need any more council cliques. I want to be clear about something. I want to be clear about something. There is nobody in this room that I wouldn't have coffee with, or I wouldn't talk to, or I wouldn't greet and love to get to know better. When I ran a couple years ago, I reached out to people from all across our community, including people that didn't always share my perspective on various things. That's how we grow. We have to have conversations. We have to get to know people. I need to understand why you feel strongly about something. And maybe you would understand me better if we have the conversation. I don't think you have any business being in council chambers if you live in an echo chamber. And that's what a lot of people are dealing with right now. Representation means listening to everyone. So not just the people that carved out and spent their night here. There's so many people at home, people that had to work. And then there's a lot of people that just don't feel safe or comfortable speaking up because they don't want to be attacked. Through my time serving on planning and zoning, I've had the responsibility of reviewing so many projects and hearing from residents on different sides of the fence. Some of those get really controversial. People feel strongly about it when you cut down their trees. People are tired of seeing the same thing happen over and over, and people are complaining and saying over and over, and it just keeps happening. My responsibility is, in my opinion, is to listen, consider the facts, and weigh what's best for the community as a whole. And that's the approach I will bring in public service. I want to say I'm not running on a slate. I'm not running as a team. I'm not running to push partisan agendas. I'm running because I believe Denton needs thoughtful, common sense leadership that's focused on the people that live here, that have been living here, and that want to keep living here and keep being able to afford living here. Woo! Thank you.
Go, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you again to the Denton Firefighters Association for putting on this opportunity to talk. I really appreciate it. I'm running because I feel like we're in an era where accountability is nowhere, and transparency and knowledge aren't things that we feel comfortable giving. I think that we don't know what we don't know, right? That's a social work saying, like, we don't know what we don't know, right? Because we're forever learners. I think to be a learner, you will have to not only have the conversations, but also be out doing the work. You know, I've literally dug trenches to put in water pipes for a mobile home community in our town. I've helped fight for an NGO to protect queer and trans people with Deb Armentor in Equality, Texas. It's having intentional conversations that build to actionable steps. And I think that, again, I go back to the beginning. If anything scares you about me or anything I've said tonight, I genuinely mean it when I say, let's go out for coffee. GeorgeForDenton.com, that's my merch, but more importantly, I enjoy working and doing the labor, and I do it because at the end of the day, I want to be able to walk around my streets and feel like we all support one another, not feel afraid, not feel othered, and feel like I don't have to sweat that my rent or my mortgage isn't gonna get paid, or if I filled up my gas tank a day ago and it's $1 more. You know, I want to make it to where we're not only focused on big important things, but that we get to have the culture that we celebrate, the arts and jazz fests, the blues fests, the way that we can come together as a community to celebrate the vibrant culture that we back up by standing up for each and every one of them. That's who I am. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, place 5 city council candidates. As a reminder, the PAC endorsements will not be till tomorrow. The candidates will be notified around lunchtime, and after that, you can find it on our social medias of who we are endorsing. I want to thank Dan Silverleaf for putting up with us for 2 weeks. That concludes the night. Thank you, everybody.
Tip your bartenders!
He does that.